a Prince
Yeah, it's
guy?
a good
I'm not
jam.
even a Prince guy.
Some of his stuff, like I can count on one hand how many times I've actually seen the movie Purple Rain. But yeah, no, I do like that song though. That's a great song.
For anybody else has no idea what we're talking about as they tune in, we just had the pre-show music had Purple Rain in the mix. Neither one of us had heard that in a while. Kind of cool. Anyway, with that though, welcome back. Welcome back to the Late Night Playset. My name is Jay Ryan. I am sitting here with across the country via satellite with my buddy Tori Alonso to my left, right over here. Tonight is Thank you very much for tuning us in. Tonight is Tuesday, August 18th, 2020, and as I mentioned, it's Tuesdays with Tori. He's Tori. My name is Jay Ryan, and he is, again, Tori Alonso. Buddy, I think we're playing it kind of loose tonight, aren't we? I
We're
don't have
playing
I
it
mean, I got a bunch of stuff we could talk about on the card, but I don't have like an agenda at all.
we're playing it totally loose, and I like shows like this because it's like there's no agenda, just like, what have you been up to? What's on your mind lately? Yeah,
I
I
think
dig that.
for me anyway, I think you've been kind of busy too. For me anyway, I don't really, I didn't, there wasn't time to prepare a show. I've been busy, so there's plenty to
You
talk
have.
about, but I don't have a whole lot of visual aids. But a shout out to Nicholas Hunziker, by the way, I've had to be out and about quite a bit lately, and this has helped me do so. So thank
Yeah,
you.
it's nice.
Hey,
He sent me one today too, and I got my the Net Gator. It's the Brumos. It's like the RSRs and stuff. It's
I
really
saw
really
we have the
cool stuff.
sticker of the same Hunziker artwork somewhere here in the studio down on the side there. I loved yours. It looked great. The
That's
colors on
cool.
you
Yeah,
and everything. I
it's
couldn't
neat.
help but notice too. You look very clean. You look very. Is there anything different about your
Oh,
appearance?
COVID hair is gone, my friend. Yeah, I went and chopped all my hair off last night, so
Yeah, you did. You look fantastic.
it's gone.
You look
Thank you, sir.
fantastic.
Couldn't deal
With
with it
that,
anymore.
I should say real quickly though. Sorry to cut you off, buddy. If you see somebody that isn't wearing a mask who should be, and you want to approach them, you could say, "Hey, man, need a mask? ShopHunziker.com." That's where we got ours.
True
Hunziker.com.
that. Yep.
Right, back
And
to
they're
you.
nice masks. I mean, you throw them in the washer, like it's a good investment because
I
I think we're
actually
going to be wearing these things for a while.
Yeah, and I agree with you on the quality. I didn't really know what to expect because the whole idea of like keeping a mask for a while just, I don't know, you think of the doctors, they're disposed every day, probably several times a day. I didn't really know what to expect with these, and the fact that they are washable makes them super easy. Super, super easy.
Agreed.
It's just like a
Agreed.
t shirt or anything else.
Yep. And good for the environment. When I was still flying with the airlines, I felt bad because we'd wear these for, a flight or whatever and then toss them. It's like, oh my God, how many of these things are ending up in the landfill? So, like, at least with this, you can just wash it and wear it again. So, that'll be nice.
I like it. So glad we got that out of the way. Also to Will, who won one here last week. I think that we got that address and got that everything. That's all shipped out. So good stuff.
It's awesome.
Congrats.
I wonder which one he picked. I want to know.
He told me he chose it.
Did he?
It was 1986 956. Is that a real thing?
Oh,
Hang on,
okay, cool.
hang on, hang on. Because now I want to know because there's actually a lot of stuff. He has so many designs available, more than I expected. When he said he
Hmm.
was doing masks, I was like, oh, okay, sure. When I went there, it was
Right.
like, oh, there's like lots of cool masks.
Lots
Let's
of them.
see.
Yeah. He's got some really cool stuff going on.
What the heck did Will choose? Now, I mean, I'm so far deep now. I want to be able to tell you.
Now you have to know.
Oh, I'm so silly. It's at the top now, of course, because I interacted with him today. The 1982 956 face mask,
Oh, okay, cool. Awesome.
race car, if memory serves. I think I
Yep.
looked it up.
Yeah, it's the predecessor to the 962.
Oh yeah.
The 956 is, yeah. So like the 962, like the low and brow and all those liveries that you would know the 956. They
Yeah,
look
they're
pretty
kind of well.
similar.
They were kind of back with the Gunner Racing last year, wasn't it?
Yep, that's right.
That was fun.
That's
How
cool.
was your week, buddy? Oh, hang on. We should start the show.
Let's do
I
it.
always forget that part. Now it's official. You're listening to Late Night Playset, or watching it if you're tuning in on YouTube, which we appreciate. I wonder if anybody's live. Let's check it out. Forget how that goes. All right, we got some concurrent viewers, 6, 7 concurrent viewers. Good. That's
We'll
something.
take them. We'll
Yeah,
take
right.
them.
So with that, how's your week been? What have you been up to, buddy? I'll
Oh
tell everybody who
man,
you are. You're Tori Alonso, live via
there you
satellite.
go. Uh, all good, man. Nothing really new to report. Still scouring Facebook Marketplace every day for some fun project car to work on. Now that all my stuff's kind of done.
Now that your
Um,
project car is sitting over in the Porsche Heritage Gallery.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I sold one of my Yugos.
Oh,
So
you
I guess
did?
that's news. Yeah, the one that I was just not motivated to work on because I have one that's so nice. It's like, why dump all this money into this crappy one when I've got this like literally showroom condition Yugo that I can just get in and drive right now.
Yeah, you
So,
bought the show car and you also bought the project car. Like, who wants to futz with the project when they're already going to the
yeah,
show?
and I bought the project car first, and then literally a week later, the other one kind of fell in my lap, and I was like, well, like, what do I do with this other one now? Because I really am not motivated to do anything with it since I've got the nice one, and I'm on these like Yugo Facebook pages, and this guy posted this basically a wanted ad. He runs like an Eastern European like deli kind of a thing, and he was born in Yugoslavia and came over when he was 5, and he wanted a Yugo, like just because it's kind of part of his heritage or
Yeah,
whatnot.
that guy
And
earned it.
yeah, he did. And so he was like, I don't want to go far though. I want to like find something local I can come and check out. And so it turns out he's in Cleveland, which is only like an hour and a half away from me. So I was like, hey, I've got this car. I'll give you a hell of a deal on it. I mean, I totally lost my ass on this car because
Really?
I'd bought all these. Oh yeah, because I'd bought all these things for it and kind of. I mean, I'd redone the entire braking system, new tires. I mean, I'd done a bunch of stuff to it. I really didn't have much left, but and he was like, yeah, I'll take the car. Like this is exactly what I was looking for. Blah blah blah, and he towed it away like 3 days ago. So yeah, but it went to
Wow.
a good home. So
So, like,
yeah,
down the
so
road motors, it's gone.
it's gone, man. Yeah, he it was funny because he I should have like had you post a picture of it. I didn't think to send it to you
That's
ahead
what
of
I was
time,
just
but
going to your. I was going to ask you which Yugo it was, but your Yugo stuff's pretty deep on here. Like, it's
yeah, it
not
is.
recent. I
Yeah,
don't want to go combing
yeah.
for it.
I haven't posted a lot of Yugo stuff lately, mostly because I think I lose followers every time I do. But
Ah, well, good for
yeah, it's
you.
funny but true. But he used a tow dolly. He just rented a tow dolly from U-Haul, but he hauled it away with his Escalade. So I was like, oh god, that's hilarious. Like you've got capitalism and socialism in one picture. It was
Yeah,
pretty
that's
good.
pretty funny. You get definitely
Yeah. So
both yins
I'm
and the
sure he got
yangs.
some looks. Yeah, absolutely. Both gamuts of the automotive realm. But no, he's really happy with it. He's I guess his brother is like a BMW tech and he's gonna help him get it going again. And so yeah. So I'm down a Yugo, but that's okay.
It must be okay. You must feel a little bit lighter. Although you're dropping cars left and right.
I do. You're like, yeah, it's getting empty around here, man. That's why I keep like hitting Facebook Marketplace and stuff like it. But like it's I just can't like I talked about this last week, but like people are so shady on Facebook Marketplace that it's like almost frustrating at this point. Because I had this green 60 rag top bug that I was all about, and this lady was like
Right, right.
contacting me, and like we were going back and forth,
And
and
you
it
said
just
last
like
weck on the show that you got ghosted. Nothing still?
yeah, yeah, still nothing. Yeah, so never did. So I finally
Bummer.
deleted that. I was like, oh, whatever. So I don't know. It is what it is.
Yeah. That's a weird
What are
one
you
though.
gonna
It's
do?
like why the wild goose chase? It's kind of odd.
I know. Well, and the fact that she was like telling me where she lived and all of this. I mean, I didn't have the exact address, but I mean, we were trying to decipher like how far she is from me and how she didn't
Yeah.
want to take the car with her because she was moving soon and this and that. I'm guessing someone probably just offered her stupid money for it and she just took it and just forget everybody else
I
I've been
guess so,
talking
but at
to.
the same
So,
point then like at some point I used to be that way, sure, when you're younger, and then at some point
yeah,
you get a little bit older and you're like, "Oh, I should have a conversation face to face with the other person. I should just tell them whatever the heck."
I wish everybody was like that, but unfortunately, in the world of Facebook, they definitely are not. So,
Yeah.
eh,
The
is what
damn
it is.
internet, man. At what point do you think they're
I
going to shut
know.
the internet off? How soon are we? How far away
I
are
don't
we
know.
from them shut? And this is a legit. I mean, I don't know how
I
legitimate
don't
it is, but
know.
I'm serious by asking it. When do
Yeah,
you think they'll turn the internet off?
I don't know. If things
Do
keep
you
getting
think it's
crazier,
possible that they would at one point turn the internet off for safety?
well, I mean, it sure seems like they're already censoring things, and keeping certain things down, as far as, with the election and stuff, not to get into politics, but I mean, there's definitely on both sides stuff going on. So who knows? I don't put anything past
The
anybody
moment net
anymore.
neutrality was done, the moment that was no
Hmm.
longer a thing, I saw that was the writing was on the walls for the end.
Yeah. 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 The
You know, they'll
beginning
make
of the end.
another they'll make another one. I guess that's maybe what the dark web is. I've never actually experienced the dark web. Have you? Have you ever gone anywhere
I
on the dark web?
haven't.
I bet you could find
No, I
a
haven't.
car on the dark web.
Yeah, maybe I could. Maybe they're better about getting back to people on the
It may
dark
be
web. I
loaded
should
with
find out.
drugs and Bitcoin, but
Yeah.
whatever.
There might be some cool cars on the dark web as well. Like, hey, picked up this 550 Spider. It's yours for 10 grand. No
Oh
title.
yeah, that's cool. Oh, I like that thought.
Yeah. Yeah. Who knows, man? Who knows? I will say though that like on like things like Reddit and 4chan, man, those guys, how they're not working for the FBI is beyond me. Because I
I've
mean,
only
they can
heard of
find
4chan,
stuff.
and I only heard of it recently. I
Oh,
don't actually know what that is, and I didn't go to. I forgot whatever news I was watching. I forgot to go to it and find out what it is. Can you explain what 4chan is?
well, they're just kind of like these sites where like-minded people will get on and they do like web sleuthing and they're kind of truthers. It seems like,
Oh,
and
okay. It
like
was sort of
especially
explained
like
to me. It
on
was more of a conspiracy theorist, sort of a that kind of a rabbit hole. Is it?
there's that element as well, but like on Reddit, like you know what Reddit is, right? There's like subreddits for like everything, and like that
I've never actually
protester.
experienced it, but I'm aware of it,
Okay,
kinda.
so like I think it was the night before last, there was a protest in, I'm sure you saw, in Portland,
Yeah.
and this guy like came up and just totally like sucker kicked this guy in the head. And I mean, messed him up really bad. Like, I mean, he's bleeding from his head. I mean, it's just whole mob mentality. People piling on this poor guy who was defenseless. He was trying to help somebody supposedly, and dude, within like an hour on Reddit, like they know this guy's name, they know that he used to work for the Portland airport. Like, I mean, they got all this stuff on him. I was like, wow. And so now, like 48 hours after the fact, the authorities in Portland are now saying, oh yeah, we do know this guy's name and we're looking for him, blah blah blah. But it's
What?
funny how fast these internet groups can find this stuff out, though. I mean,
Well,
they
that's what
don't
it's
play
sounding to.
around.
It sounds to me almost like a vigilante news,
Kind of, yeah.
vigilante reporting, vigilante, that kind of
Hmm.
thing, which may not be a bad thing these days,
I
depending
agree.
on what the agenda is, I guess.
Right. As
But
long as it's for good, I guess, But I mean,
yeah, and
when
that depends on where your perspective is.
yeah, and a
From
lot,
my experience in life, most people who do bad things don't think they're bad people, myself
right,
included.
right,
I mean, anything like you
right,
know what I mean. Whatever the heck it ever is, you never really think of yourself as a bad person.
right.
You never think you're
Yeah,
gonna die. Like there's all these different things. We as humans kind of just don't register.
yeah,
That's kind of
yeah,
one of them. People don't really get it, so they all
yep,
think everybody on both sides thinks they're fighting for what's right. And
right.
that's the weird one where you and I, like, that's where we don't do the politics and we're like, I'm in the plane. All right, tell me your beef. All right, tell me your beef. I'll mediate this thing. I'll put it
Yeah,
together.
yeah.
We have Kevin Lynch on the shout out to the wonderful, great shining light that is Kevin Lynch. We have him on the show sometimes. He's a CEO now, corporate CEO. And, his old job in the old days was to literally bring giant
Wow.
merger, giant companies together. Like, I don't want to say the names, but giant conglomerates. They're like, oh, you need this? Oh, you need this? Oh, I can put that together.
Yeah,
Be willing to listen, I guess, maybe. I don't know.
yep. Like Kraft and Heinz. I mean, that level stuff. I would imagine big stuff.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I don't
crazy.
know.
Yeah, I kind of like the direction some of that stuff's going though on these websites. Like you would never watch this on Netflix because of Meow Meow, but there's a show called Don't Fuck with Cats, and yeah, it was, and it's a true story. And I remembered when all of this happened. It's just a crazy story, but like, um, long story short, this guy was like vacuum sealing cats and then
Oh,
like
dear
filming it.
Lord.
Yeah, it was awful
It's not
and
funny
putting
at
it out
all.
there. But all these people were so pissed about this that they started to track this guy's moves. And they would report him to the police, and they're like, look, this guy is sick in the head. Like, it's only a matter of time before he starts killing people. And he
Right.
did.
What's the step from a cat to a baby to, something
Right,
else?
right. So, I mean, long story short, spoiler alert, like, he did end up killing a person. And they,
Oh,
like, tried to
jeez.
tell the cops, like, dude, we tried to warn you about this. Like, we had tracked his moves from all these places where they were always just like a half step behind this guy, but I mean, way further ahead than any of the cops were. So it's amazing what these people can do. But I mean, they use like Google Earth and like satellite imagery, and I mean, they can just take one little iota of information from like a crappy picture that he posted or whatever, and they're like, "Oh, I know exactly where this is. He's in this apartment on this corner." And I mean, it's amazing what some of these people do. But
Purely coincidence. I mean, purely coincidence. Nicole and I watched a movie that didn't do well. In fact, I would be surprised if you ever even heard of it, but it's got huge people in it. It's a Tom Hanks and the girl from Harry Potter, whose name I always forget. I've met her. She was in This Is the End. Hermione.
yeah, I know who you're talking
The
about.
main
Yeah,
girl from Harry Potter. Anyway,
yeah.
it's those two people. It's called The Ring, and it's basically sort of a loose take on like Apple, although it's not actually Apple. It's called The Circle,
Oh, okay.
as is the movie The Circle. But it's a whole lot of that. It's about living in this future that we're in currently, where everything is on camera, no matter where you go. So you can kind of, if you can get into that system, you can find anyone, and that's sort of the plot of this movie. I can't recommend it as a good movie. It's one of those movies that you think it's going to be great, and then somewhere in the middle there, it just kind of like, oh, it's over. Okay, well, that's a
Oh,
neat
yeah.
idea. But
Yeah.
to show the thinking behind of like where we are in this future and what may actually be going on behind the scenes is kind of interesting. It's
Yeah.
exactly what you just described. Exactly.
That's crazy. Yeah. Yeah, we're there.
So that's what it is. I really didn't know that. So what do
Yeah.
you do when you spend time there? Is it listed by like how does it work?
Well,
And what does
like on
4chan
Reddit,
stand for? 4
I'm
channel?
I don't even know. Couldn't tell you.
Okay.
No idea. Um, I've
We don't
spent
need
more
to
time
keep
on
talking. I was
Reddit,
just
but
curious.
Reddit's more like a message board type format. So like you click on different things and then it's like subreddits like, but anytime there's something like they're big, they at least the ones that I always look at seem to have morals. Like there was one that was huge on like busting Epstein. And then when Epstein hung himself, then of course that went crazy, and they were talking about all the crazy stuff that went on with that. And uh, there is a little bit of a conspiracy theory element to it, I guess you could
Okay.
say, but it's still interesting because these people, I think, they really just want to, expose people for who they are if they're shitty people, and then try and right some wrongs, at least morally. So I don't know. It's pretty cool. I mean, if you got a lot of time and you go down that hole,
Who
it's
the hell
pretty
has
interesting.
time?
Yeah,
Did you
right.
watch the Epstein thing on Netflix?
I sure did. Yep.
Oh, okay. I haven't. I haven't. I think I started it, and I was like, "Whoa, this gets deep quick," or something like that. And I was like, "I need to
Yeah, it's
actually." I thought I
crazy.
could have it on in the background, and I was like, "No, you actually have to watch this." And I
Yeah.
never went back to it. You would recommend?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. It's really good. Yeah,
Okay.
especially if you're into stuff like that. Yeah, it's good.
I don't. Into what does that mean?
No,
Into
no,
stuff
like
like
true
what?
crime stuff. True crime
Oh,
stuff.
I
Not
see.
not
Okay.
young kids.
Good grief.
Not underage sex.
Just
No,
checking.
like true crime stuff. No. I told you about Evil Genius, right?
Yeah.
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 Did you watch that? Did you end up
No.
watching that?
No.
About the pizza bomber?
No.
No, I'm
There was
serious.
another one
That's
too.
like
You said
literally a
about.
thing. This is the book that is based on. It's called
Oh
Pizza Bomber.
wow.
It's unreal. Like it's really really good. Well, it's a local case that happened here in 2003, and it was a
Here in
big deal. I
Pittsburgh.
mean, in Erie, it was in Erie, Pennsylvania, which is only like 45 minutes north of me. So I mean, it's a local like story. But this happened back in 2003. I wasn't even living here when this happened. I was in Orlando, and I was like transfixed to this case because it was so nuts. It was absolutely crazy. But I don't want to spoil it for you because if you haven't seen Evil Genius yet, then you need to watch
Yeah.
Evil
All right.
Genius.
Well, all right.
But
Well, then I'll watch it. Is it on Netflix
it's on
or
Netflix, and
one of those?
I
Okay.
still think I still think it's the best thing on Netflix, like
The,
ever.
that's high
Like as
praise.
far as true crime stuff goes, it's just so well done. There's so many twists and turns in the case. It's
Wow.
it's unbelievable.
Would
And
you?
not to spoil anything, but I'm that's that's actually been my rabbit hole this week. I'm trying to track down the Geo Metro that was used in the crime. Like
Whoa.
yeah,
That's
I
so
know.
wild.
Yeah, it is wild. So yeah,
Wait, was it?
that's that.
Wasn't it you? I was just talking to. It was you. I was just talking to. I think about Once Upon a Time in Hollywood and how
Yes.
Quentin Do you want to tell that story real quick? That's a cool car story. Similar lines.
Oh yeah, about the Manson car.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'd
yeah.
never heard
You
that
know how we
story.
got talking about that? Yeah, we got talking about that because that car was in the little virtual Concours or whatever for the Peterson. So, so the 906 was at the virtual Concours that happened last weekend. It was last Sunday or whatever. I didn't even know the other cars that were accepted into the movie TV car category, so I started watching it. And in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, there's like I think it's like a 1959 Ford Galaxy, and it's the Manson family car that they drove to Sharon Tate's house. This happened in real life when they drove to Sharon Tate's house to murder her. They had this '59 Ford Galaxy, and then of course it has a different ending in Quentin Tarantino's movie, but he tracked down the original Ford Galaxy, okay, for that was used in the original Sharon Tate crimes back in 1969, and like they were all set to use this car in the film, and at the last minute he was like, yeah, this is even a little too creepy for me, like we're just going to make a replica of it. So they had a
Even Quentin
complete replica of
Tarantino
this.
was weirded out by the mojo.
Yeah, yeah. Just bad,
It's
weird
saying a
juju
lot.
on set. Yeah, exactly. So they ended up making just a complete replica of this car, and that car is going to be auctioned off with the blue Carmen Ghia convertible that Brad Pitt drove in the movie, by Prop Store Auctions at the end of this month, like in a week or so. So that'll be interesting to watch. But
You
I
ever?
love that Galaxy. The
Yeah, the car's
Galaxy's cool
cool.
because it's
Have
all
you
patinaed out.
have you ever bought anything from the prop store?
No, never have.
No, I haven't either.
Mostly because it's always overpriced. Like
But is
I,
it? Aren't they
anytime
the
I'll
only
get
other
something
ones in
from
the
a
business?
movie,
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
who is it? It's Prop
It's
Store. There's a few other ones.
Screen Used and Prop Store are the only two I can think of.
Yes,
ScreenUsed.com,
Screen Used. That's the other one
which
I was thinking of. Yep,
isn't that one's basically profiles in history, isn't it? Or are they different? I
correct.
can't
And
remember.
they're the ones that always have the Back to the Future stuff. It seems like. Yep,
Wild, wild,
yep.
wild, wild.
But I'm sure this
But the prop
Prop
store
Store
actually
stuff
has
will
a
go
has a
crazy.
physical location. Well, I don't know about now, but they actually they opened up a brick and mortar finally, didn't they?
I believe so. Yeah. Yep. I
That
don't
would
know
be a
how
neat
this
thing to go
auction.
see.
Yeah, it would be cool. I don't know how this auction's going to go down. I'm sure it's all just online. But it should be interesting to see like what these cars end up selling for. But they've got like three or four of the cars from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. So
I wonder
I'll
if the auction premiums are still 10%, even though they don't have to throw like the audience and the booth, like all the all the pomp and
I would
circumstance. They probably
imagine
cost quite a bit
I
of
would
money at an
imagine they
auction,
are.
because theoretically you
Yeah,
just
I
need a
would
backdrop
imagine.
to drive the cars in front of, right?
You would think so. Yeah. Who knows? I don't know if they're waiving those fees right now or not. I should ask our friend Ramsey if they're doing that, like even with the RMs
Oh,
and stuff.
I love Ramsey Potts. Ugh, what a wonderful human.
Ramsey. Yeah, he is. He is. Good guy.
Oh, Brant's back in there. Look at that. I made these things because I was over at Matt Fair. Oh, well, since I've seen you, we should talk about that. Well, only if
Nice.
you want to. I went and did the
Yeah.
smoking tires since I've seen you, and Zach pulled up those things in the middle, and I was like, oh, I have those. I literally have them, and I just never push it. I make them and
That's
everything, and I
hilarious.
just never push it.
No,
So now
that's
I'm going to
cool.
over push it.
The show was really good. You did a great job on the podcast. I thought it was
Oh,
really interesting.
oh,
Cool
thanks. I
stuff.
hope I did a better job there than I did spelling my own handle here. The missing an S in Porsche.
Oh, that's well,
I'll
whoever
just amend that while you say whatever you were saying.
whoever Porch Life is, they're about to get some more followers, probably. at
Well,
least
in
at
Malibu,
least
we're on the
12.
Porsche porch, right?
Yeah,
You know
exactly.
what? Let's talk about the Porsche porch very briefly, just because I've been talking to Bill lately. And if you're over there for the car show, damn it, buy something. Buy a coffee at Bill if you're having coffee. If you're gonna get breakfast, buy it from there, especially if you're parking in the parking lot. It's not. It's one of those things. Like he's not. You know what I mean? He wasn't like, "Hey, tell your people to buy something." He wasn't that, but it was like, this is a lot more work. You remember a couple weeks ago when I was like, "I think Bill's actually happy." Bill's stressed out. He's just wearing it really, really well.
Poor
He's putting on
guy.
a really nice face for all of us. It's a lot to try to keep people straight, especially when nobody
I'm
wants to
sure.
adhere. Nobody wants to
Yeah.
adhere to this stuff. Everybody takes their masks off the moment they get in the store, and so he literally has to walk around going, "Can you please put your mask on? Can you please put your
Uh,
mask on while you're in the store? Can you please put your
what a
mask on while you're
nightmare.
in the store?"
That'd be
Over and
awful.
over. So I don't know. Please support the
Where
Malibu Kitchen. We just love them. I would hate. I never want them to go anywhere. That's one of. They're one of the institutions where it's just like we don't have much.
yeah,
Don't take our couple things away.
yeah, I know.
But Smoking
people need
Tire,
to wear
Smoking
their
Tire.
yeah. Let's talk
Smoking
about
Tire
that.
was a tremendous amount of fun. If you remember here, I was telling you that I was a little bit nervous because, like, I don't know as much about cars as those guys do.
Hmm.
Luckily, we didn't get to it too much, and then he basically talked about the car, like the press cars that came in that week that I did get to see and look at or whatever. So I did have an opinion about. Um, but yeah, huge shout out to Zach and to Matt because it was really fun. It felt like doing morning radio. I told them that actually at the end.
That's cool.
It
That's
felt
really
like, oh,
cool.
I'm on the morning zoo with Zach and Matt.
Yeah. Which it sounded like that's kind of what they were going for. That's kind of like their inspirational stuff
That's
was,
what he said. I didn't know that. He
Kevin and
said Opie and
Dean and
Anthony.
yeah,
Now, I
Opie
never
and
listened to those
Anthony and
guys, but I'm aware of
yeah,
them. I mean,
yeah,
definitely
yeah.
know they were a huge radio franchise for years, right?
Yep. That's how Adam Carolla got his start.
Didn't know that either.
Yeah,
I
he
mean,
used to.
until recently.
Yeah, he used to call in as Mr. Burcham, I think, the woodshop teacher.
Oh, he was a
Was like
character at
this.
first?
Yeah, he was like this whole character. Yeah, like the whole reason that he ended up meeting Jimmy Kimmel, who I think was the sports guy. Was it Jimmy the sports guy? I
This is
think
funny you
is
say this. I found this completely separately. I found both of these things at. I thought Jimmy I read was on Kevin and Bean, but maybe it was on the same show. But he played. I think you're right, Jimmy the sports guy, and he would call
yeah,
in as a
yeah.
character.
Mm-hmm.
That was
And
his
then
beginning in radio, supposedly.
right, so and I think that was whatever Kevin and Bean, yeah, whatever K Rock is that
That's
was
it
the
out
show
here.
that they were
Yeah,
on.
I just
Yeah,
read
yeah.
that.
So he was on that, and then he ended up doing some like celebrity boxing thing or something, and they somehow got hooked up with Adam Carolla, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm a boxer. Like I can train you and teach you how to box for this upcoming deal." And then they just kind of hit it off, I think, and then Adam ended up doing this Mr. Bertram character, I think, and would call in, and people just ate it up and loved it. And then I think that led to Loveline on K Rock, and then that led to Loveline with Dr. Drew on
Well,
MTV, and then like the rest. He just blew
well,
up
I don't.
from
I think
there.
there may,
So
if the math is correct, the Man Show would have been what paired those two guys together, and that would have been maybe. I feel like that was the first thing they did together. Do you remember that? It was on Comedy Central. It was actually not
but
up my alley at all. But the great Hal Gurney, who used to direct Letterman and made Letterman sort of the show that
right.
we all saw,
Oh yeah, I
he
used to
directed
watch
that
the
as
Man
well.
Show. Yeah, I used to watch the Man Show in college, but I want to say that Loveline came before the Man Show because the Man
Oh, it
Show was
did.
on Comedy Central. I think so. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Because I mean, dude,
Wasn't Loveline
Loveline
on
was
Comedy
old.
Central, or was that
No,
MTV?
Loveline was on MTV
MTV.
because
Okay,
Loveline was
both
always came
Viacom.
on after what was that show? Singled Out. You remember Singled Out with Chris Hardwick
Of
and
course, she used to work with
Jenny
Chris
McCarthy?
Hardwick.
Yeah, there
Yeah.
you go. Yeah, I think that came before, and then they probably got together for the Man Show just because they had already worked together for so many years on K Rock.
Do
I
you remember the
imagine. I
years
don't
of any of
know.
that stuff? Because the Man Show, I believe, would have been
No,
like
I don't.
'95.
Yeah, it would have been around 95, 96 because I know I was definitely in college, but I think I used to watch Loveline and Singled Out like in high school, if I'm not mistaken. So that
Yeah,
would
I
have been
remember Singled Out in high
before
school for sure.
95.
Not
Yeah,
for the
yeah. I mean,
reasons
we're
you
around the
think I
same
mean.
age. So. Yeah. So, but yeah, I think that's how they got their start. So, anyways, yeah, the more you know.
She worked with da, 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 da. She worked with Hardwick, and I was like, oh, I loved his the first movie he did. And I can't. I think it was before she worked with him, but I was out here already, and I was working something. I don't remember what on the Universal lot, and it was at the same time they were shooting the Rob Zombie movie, House of a Thousand Corpses.
Oh yeah,
Do you
yeah,
remember that
sure.
movie?
Yeah, of course.
It
Yeah,
was a movie that like didn't do well at all, but somehow they like rushed a sequel out with that Devil's Rejects or whatever. I don't know.
yeah.
The people who liked it loved it. Like a
Rob
cult
Zombie
favorite.
reminds me of Magnus, or I guess I should say the other way around. Like they
It-
have kind of that similar vibe,
yeah, it's not all that. I mean,
right?
it's kind of the same rock and roll.
Yeah.
But Chris Hardwick was one of the stars of that movie. That there
Oh,
was
was he really?
the two guys. Yeah, in fact, she worked with both of them. The other one's Rainn Wilson.
Oh
It's
wow, that's funny.
those two guys are the leads in that movie. I
Wow.
completely forgot about
Dude, I
that.
haven't seen that movie in years. It's been a long
I
time.
wonder if it's good or not. I remember it being really creepy effed up.
Yeah.
Not like sex torture effed up, but like I think that maybe there is some torture. I don't remember. Don't
There
they keep
probably
somebody
is.
locked up and stuff?
Probably,
I
yeah.
guess
And
Goonies
then
has
that's
that
like
too.
when
If
all
it all
that's kind
depends
of
on
like when
context.
and then all the stuff with the Saw movies and stuff, they lost me with all that stuff. Like I never really saw any of those either. Saw.
Yeah, I mean, you've seen one, you've seen them all, literally, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
I
exactly.
like some of
Yeah, I mean
the
they are.
first one had some of that gadgetry. Remember there was like that
Yeah.
helmet, or
Yeah. Oh
one of
yeah.
them had all that crazy shit. That was pretty scary. And
Yeah.
then the idea that Carrie Elways had to saw his foot off to get out of that thing, that
Yeah.
was pretty scary.
Yeah.
Maybe I know what I'm gonna do. Those are yeah.
Crazy movies. Yeah. No, you
But I
have to
do.
watch Evil
You're right though. They were
Genius.
all a little bit too much. Just a little bit too much.
Yeah. No, if you watch anything, watch Evil Genius. I'm telling you, you're going to be infatuated with it. And then you're going to be like, dude, I want you to get that Geo Metro
But
after
Evil
you
Genius
see
is
it.
a documentary, right? It's not
It's
or
a
a docu
four-part docu-series,
miniseries.
but it's all true. That's what's terrifying about it. Dude, I'm telling you, it's so good. It's so good.
I
Like,
can't stand those fiction docu-series. They're no good.
yeah. You know what I mean? Like I mean, there's some that are kind of like exaggerated or whatever. This is like straight out of how it happened, and the way that they tell the story is amazing. Like it's really good.
When you
Really
were
good.
talking about all this stuff before and true crime and everything, it made me think. You said this was your favorite. What do you think of the People versus O.J. Simpson? Did you enjoy that?
I still have
And
not
where would
seen
you
that.
rank it? Oh,
I
really?
haven't seen it yet. Yeah, I still haven't seen that one. Mm-mm.
Why are you still pro O.J.?
Oh no, 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 no! I just haven't. That's just one of the things I haven't seen. Yeah, I heard it
For
was
all
really
the
good.
things you recommend, I will happily trade you one if you watch that. Only because it's
Okay, cool.
I mean, I just remember it all so well, and we're like the same age. I feel like you'll
Oh
remember it
yeah,
really
that was
well too.
huge.
That was
Yeah,
summer of
yeah.
'93 to summer '94 to summer '95,
Yep, sure
and
was.
it's a weird thing to think about for me because you know my dad. I'm not. This isn't a sad thing, but you know my dad died so long ago that it's kind of hard to. I was so young when it happened. It's hard to place like where in time that was, and then we
Hmm.
figured it out. My dad got sick literally January 1 of '96, and the
Hmm.
OJ verdict was like December of '95. The last thing my dad, like the last cultural thing my dad experienced was OJ
Was
Simpson
OJ?
getting off.
Oh, poor guy.
Isn't that
Man,
weird? Like, but
that
that's
is
when it
weird.
was. So when I watched this
Yeah,
thing, I was like, oh, it's so long ago. Like, oh, it puts me back in that time. So it may be just
yeah.
sentimental to me. I'm just curious if you
Oh
like it
no,
as
I
well.
remember following all that, and of course seeing the great Bronco chase on TV, and oh, I remember all that like it was yesterday.
I'll say this about the docuseries. I don't. What's the best way to say this? It's
Cuba's in it,
more.
right? Is it Cuba Gooding Jr.?
Yeah, and he's fine. He's great
Okay,
actually. But
yeah.
it's more it's more interesting to see. Yeah, the cast is spectacular. In fact, the other
Okay.
cast members are so great. I've loved Sarah Paulson since Studio 60 on the Sunset Strip.
Hmm.
But the guy who plays Christopher Darden is from another show where he's fantastic, and I can't remember which one.
Isn't
Maybe
David
This Is
Schwimmer in it
Us.
too?
Say again.
David Schwimmer's in it too, right?
He plays yeah, oh, yeah. He plays the Kardashians' husband,
Oh no way!
Robert Kardashian, I believe. Yeah, I think so. Anyway,
Wow.
it's good. But what I like is that it's like more palatable to watch than
Hmm.
the OJ trial because like
Hmm.
the actors who are playing the characters are like Marsha Clark. I always found like kind of annoying. Yeah, and she
Hmm.
was doing her job and everything, but like I don't want to watch a movie with her. And like Sarah Paulson softened her up a little bit. It made it sort of it's I don't know
More palatable.
airbrush perhaps.
Yeah.
Ugh, I'm talking too much about a thing I don't even really care about.
Bro, it got killer reviews when it came out. I remember that's all people were talking about. I mean, it
It
seems
won a
like
lot of awards.
yeah, I mean every month you have this thing that's on Netflix that's just like killing it. Like you got Tiger King, and The People versus OJ was one for a while, and Evil Genius. I mean, that was the one for a while because it was so
I'm gonna
good.
watch
So
this. I'm gonna watch this.
I'm telling you, even Nicole will be like, "What?" Because I know how much she loves true crime stuff. Like
She's
she'll
likely
dig it
already
too.
seen it.
Like
She's
she may
likely already
have.
seen it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, she'll be able to recommend it then, because I'm telling you, it's really good. And I mean, I know all these places, like I go there all the time to Erie, so it's cool to be able to like point all this stuff out. Like, oh yeah, I know exactly where that's at. And so
That was
this
a show
whole
when I was a kid, Erie, Pennsylvania.
was it?
Yeah, you don't remember Erie, Pennsylvania? I mean, the
No,
show?
really? There was a show? No, I didn't know
It
that.
was about, it was a, I don't remember it being good, but it was like kids who went on adventures and stuff. It was like maybe like Goonies or something.
Oh, how funny! I'll have to check that
Because
out.
things were really weird in Erie, PA. Like that was the whole opening.
Yeah, well, they are. That is true. When you see this, you're gonna be like, "Whoa!" Yeah,
Well, the name of the
it's
town's
good.
Erie. That's weird.
Yeah,
Weird
yeah,
enough.
yep.
Let's see. You got a COVID haircut. You look fantastic. Did you do it yourself or did you go
No, no, I
someplace?
actually went to a place. No, I just go to like Great Clips. I don't go
No,
to like a
yeah.
bougie
No, there's no
salon or
judgment on it.
anything. I'm a guy, yeah. So no, I just got my $20 haircut. But no, I cut it all off. Like, well, it's funny because I looked at Old Soul and I was like, "Geez, my hair's really long." Like, I didn't realize it was that long in the back. And I don't know. I mean, I'm not working, so it's not like I got people telling me like, "Hey, you should cut your hair," when I'm on the airplane. So yeah, I was just like, enough. So I'm all lightheaded today because there's so
You
much
lost your
less
mane.
weight. Yeah, I totally
Oh, it was
have.
just
But
today you did that? That's awesome.
last night, yeah,
That's
yeah,
great.
late last night. Yep,
That's
it's all
so
good,
funny.
man. Yeah,
Let's see. Last time we talked about asking Spike Ferriston to come do the show. I
cool.
saw him on Sunday. I asked him if he would. He said yes. He's very busy right now because he's writing, but we're going to put it together. So that'll be fun.
Cool. That'd
Yeah,
be
he was like, I
awesome.
have to, right? He's like, go visit Dave's set. Of course, of course. Like, I have
Exactly.
to.
Yeah, yeah. There's no choice here. So awesome, man. That'll be fun to look forward to.
Yeah, yeah.
That'll be
I'm
a
looking
fun
forward to
show.
it.
I just,
Uh,
I just want you guys to geek out over Letterman more than anything. I mean,
I don't know if he will. I hope he does.
I think
I
that'd
don't
be
know. He's so
fun.
reserved. It's hard to tell.
Yeah,
I don't know him, like everybody, Matt Farah and the people I've been hanging out with lately know him much better than I do. I've only had
yeah,
a very few brief conversations with him. So I don't really
yeah,
know like the guy very well.
yeah.
So it'll be interesting. Like, I'm willing to go well, pretty much anywhere, but I'm willing to go there. I feel like
Yeah,
he would. I mean,
I
I
think
don't, it's
so.
not like there's any, I'm not trying to dig up any stories or anything like that, but it'll be neat for me to hear anything he remembers. Some of my favorite bits were from the last years of late night, the old show,
Mm-hmm.
and he was
Mm-hmm.
there for that, and he probably wrote a bunch of them.
Yeah,
So that'll be
that'd
neat
be
for
cool.
me.
Yeah, I agree. I think that'd be
Geek.
cool. Yeah.
Speaking of Letterman, though, and Jay Ryan, shameless self promotion today. Apparently, I also did the Wrench. Hang on, it's called the Solopreneur Hour. Do you know
Oh,
that
how'd
one?
that go? I saw your post about it today. Yeah.
Yeah, I did it just the other day, and it's up already today. So podcast only, no YouTube, no video, no
Oh,
pictures of
okay,
any
cool.
sort. There's no
Right.
evidence of it whatsoever. In fact, he asked me for a picture today. But it's up, available on Solopreneur Hour wherever you listen to podcasts. Michael
Cool.
O'Neill, he was a guest on this show first, and he's got a number of successful podcasts. He's got a YouTube channel called Wrench, two N's in Wrench, like Porsche Ren, and it was fun. It was interesting. This is the type of thing where he literally has two microphones and a Zoom recorder.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know what to expect these days. I was a little surprised that that was his trick because he's like the kind of guy who like you hire to get your podcast grown or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like he knows
Right.
all the buttons, he knows the algorithm, he knows all that stuff. He knows how to, like, you need to do
He's
this and have it
cracked the
send it here
code.
and push it here instead of, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Instead of it's your homepage, it should actually be your YouTube subscribe page or whatever he told me
Mm-hmm.
yesterday.
Right.
All the things that like any marketer or PR person probably, that's literally their step one, but like
Yeah.
that's not me and it wasn't her anymore, and that's
Right.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyway, so it was cool. Shout out to Michael O'Neill and the Wrench YouTube channel and the Solopreneur Hour podcast.
Awesome.
Solo Hour podcast is what he calls it up for short.
I'll check that out.
Wait, but the reason I was bringing that up was I found out he's a huge Letterman fan. Didn't know it until his. I mean, he mentioned it
Oh, is
briefly
he?
here when he was here, but his introduction about me and like having been here and talking all about it, like I didn't realize what a Letterman fan was, and it goes back to his family and
Interesting.
his family got the joke sort of thing too. So I
Well,
don't know.
that's cool.
There seems to be a lot of for a while there, I was the only Letterman stuff in the air, and there seems to be a bit more lately.
Mm-hmm.
Letterman's been shooting his show again with masks. I saw all sorts of people posted on Instagram, tag me
Oh,
sometimes.
really? The
Dave
Netflix show?
Letterman and Dave Chappelle. Yeah,
Oh, that would be a good one. So they probably go
yeah.
back
No,
to
they already.
dating
I mean,
and
it's in the can, so it'll be out next season.
oh, that'll be awesome. I will love that.
And I
That'll be
guess
cool.
Dave Chappelle's Letterman showed up at Chappelle's comedy shows that he's been doing lately. Been doing
Oh,
like
wow.
all-star comedy shows like once a month.
Uh-huh.
It's been pretty
Uh-huh.
wild. So Letterman, I think it was a twofer. I think Letterman did that, and they probably shot the Netflix show.
That's really
Seems
cool.
like
Awesome. What's the deal with the
more
fires
Dave
out
in the
there?
world.
Fires getting any better?
Worse, really
Are they?
worse.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's supposedly
Dri-
really hot out there. They said that's
it's
not helping, right?
it is hot. It's hot.
Yeah.
The AC just turned off right now for like the first time today.
Wow.
We're on the third floor, so it's a little bit hotter because there's skylights and we're
Mm-hmm.
on the roof level. But
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's nice and cool in here, but the thing has to run all the time to keep it going. It's crazy pants. But yeah, the fire's
Man.
not good. We went to Breakfast Club on Friday, and it was so smoky at the bottom. Well, I think I sent you a video,
Yeah, you did.
and I
Yeah, it's
definitely
crazy.
posted one. It was like I was glad to have a mask. Like if I didn't have a mask, I would have taken the bandana off the thing, and I would have probably put that on anyway, even
Man.
non-COVID.
Man.
Luckily, once you got like a quarter of the way up, maybe a third of the way up, it kind of cleared because you sort of transitioned to a different range. You're not on the front side anymore,
Mm-hmm.
where all the fires seem to be. There was one in Azusa too, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. They just seemed to like they kept springing up, and there was more and more. But as we got up to the top, it was pretty clear, and
Well, that's
at the
good.
top, it was very clear. It was actually a very nice day, but hot, so stinking hot.
Ugh.
I can't, and we're not complaining, but we're experiencing thinking we're hot on the top of the mountain where there wasn't smoke, where
Yeah.
it wasn't capped in anymore, and we weren't firefighters wearing 60 pounds worth of gear. And
Can imagine. Yeah, with an axe and
those
equipment
guys are
and
heroes.
yeah,
Heroes.
they really are. They really
I'm not
are.
saying that because my dad was one. I mean it. You guys are heroes. Thank you, thank you,
Yeah,
thank
it's
you to the
just a
firefighters.
thankless job too. You know, people don't realize what they do every single day, and yeah,
Yeah, did you see?
kudos.
In fact, here's another cool one. Since this is like half, it's cars and movies. This show, cars and media to watch. Um, what is it called? The new Pete Davidson movie, Hero of Staten Island.
I know which one you're talking about. I haven't seen it, but his dad was a firefighter, right?
It's
And
on
he
Netflix, and it's
died.
it's a very. I don't know how close to telling, but I'm guessing pretty close based on Pete Davidson kind of wears his emotions on his sleeve too, and it's all out there for you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm guessing this is a
Mm-hmm.
pretty accurate telling. It's just an enjoyable movie too, and obviously I related to some of the aspects because of my dad and whatever,
Of
both a
course.
firefighter
Yeah.
and dying when I was young. But the movie's just cute. Like he may be the next Adam Sandler. Like if he keeps
Mm-hmm.
going down this path.
Mm-hmm.
And do you know what I mean by that? Like it was Adam Sandler, and then it was there was somebody after him I can't remember, and then it was Hot Rod was his movie, and Daddy's Boy with
Oh
Sandler
yeah,
actually.
yeah. I know who you're Andy
Can't think of
Samberg.
Andy
Yeah,
Samberg.
Andy
Yes,
Samberg.
very talented Andy Samberg. And then
Yeah.
when Andy left, it was kind of like, oh, this Pete Davidson kind of is sort of took over that role.
Mm-hmm.
After seeing this movie, like I could see it. It's not just a bullshit movie and or comedy. It's like it's got a lot of heart.
Cool.
I
I'll have to
recommend
check
it.
it out.
Yeah, it's not
Awesome.
like the best movie in
Yeah.
the world. It's definitely a first attempt, but it's worth it. There's enough heart and enough good stuff there, and enough just good honesty. Like I may watch it again actually tonight because I'm sort of in that mood now.
Cool.
It's like just really good honest
That's awesome.
storytelling, like real stuff, real
Cool.
moments that are like kind of uncomfortable, and then you see how they deal with them, and you're like, oh, maybe I could deal with that should it ever happen to me that way instead of however I felt when I started the scene.
Yeah, it's a good way to put it.
Maybe
Yeah.
helps us all grow a little bit.
Yeah. I'll check that out.
I love that you wear your LA hat every time. I don't know
I
why.
try to. I don't know. Like I wear other hats, but I just feel like they don't. They're just not the same. I like
Is
this
it because
hat.
it's
I
navy
don't know why.
blue? Is that what it is, or
I
is
don't
it
know.
your
It's like
your Dodger love?
it's just broken in. It's not even it's just I just love LA. Like it's kind of my little connection to LA, I guess. I don't know. It's funny. Like I even wore it in that movie that we did. It's hilarious. I don't know. It's just like I guess it's like your favorite pair of jeans or something that's just broken in just right. Like that's how I feel about this hat.
I
You know?
definitely know what you mean by that. I definitely know what you mean by that.
Yeah, one of those deals. But
Well, this is a great time to tell you a quick story about when I was a kid. Speaking of my dad before, you want to?
yeah,
It's
do
very
it.
quick. Very quick.
Story time.
You'll see how I'm working this in. You're gonna laugh. When I was a kid, and this is actually totally true, I had a go kart, and it was the go kart that I had was not like the racing cart that like you would get to later in life. This is like I'm in like fourth grade, and my dad bought me a go kart because all I want to do is drive and have a go kart.
Like
So
pull
it's
start,
the technically I think that
lawnmower
you'd
engine.
call it a no, you'd call it like a fun cart. I think it's the one you ride around the
Okay.
yard. You know,
Okay,
it's
yeah.
got the little three and a
Yeah.
half horse Briggs and
Yeah,
Stratton
of
behind
course.
you. I think it may be
Yeah.
one wheel drive technically
Yeah,
because it's
yeah.
like the
The
chain
chain.
right off the thing. It
Yeah,
wasn't a live axle or anything.
I know
Made by
exactly what you're talking about.
Manco. It's like
Yeah.
a lawnmower company.
Yeah.
But on Sundays when I would visit with my dad, we would wash the cars after I was
Hmm.
done with whatever. My go kart was named Speedy, by the way. And that's a true story.
That's
But we would
awesome.
wash the cars, and my dad sort of taught me just all about that stuff, and it was very, very nostalgic of like how to. All right, you went and used your car, like all right, now you have to take care of it, and whatever
Hmm.
that was, whether it was filling it up with gas again or checking the oil, like all the little things, checking the air
Hmm.
pressure on the tires because all real rubber tires, and
Yep.
all those different things, and it really made me think about our sponsor. I was thinking about this story the other day. And it made me think about our sponsor, St. Clair Insurance. And this is
Oh, that's
this is
cool.
totally legitimately from my heart, but it really does. And it was sort of like a what separate. It was like there is no difference. My dad and me were doing the same thing. Like, oh, when I'm older, I'm going to be doing that with him, and like I'll have a kid who's doing
Yeah.
that with. It was a whole thing, and it really made me think of the whole like, oh, what separates men from boys? Back in the day, that phrase was the price of their toys. That's what I always
Hmm.
heard. And of
Right.
course, St. Clair Insurance provides coverage for your toys. So, all of that to say, the difference between men and boys is the coverage for their toys. St. Clair Insurance, coverage for your toys. Check out St. Clair Insurance at coverageforyourtoys.com.
And it's not just cars, right? I mean, they do
Not just
boats, they
cars.
do water like jet skis, and I mean anything that you can insure, they will do, right?
His specialty, because he's a car guy and because he's into the same stuff we are, is of course the collector cars.
Right.
But he insures everything. I mean, I think I told you the Haggerty. He's like in the top 20 guys every year, gets the
Right.
award and the whole bit. But yeah, if you've got a boat or an RV or a jet ski or anything that requires insurance, a business, a storage facility, like anything,
That's
your
awesome.
home. You, even
Very
if you
cool.
rent, like all that stuff, he's just a generic, all-encompassing insurance guy who has focused his attention into one certain area. So it's cool though, because like the guys who oh they'll insure a couple cars with him, but then they'll insure the
Hmm.
building the cars are stored in with him too, because you can do that. So anyway,
Yeah.
shout out to St.
Yep.
Clair Insurance, we love you.
Did you happen to see what movie they're going to be showing at the Porsche Drive-In series at the PECLA?
I didn't until somebody shared it with me, and then I was very excited, and I wonder where that came from. Yeah, I'm really excited about this, and now I really want to go down. It's PECLA, right?
Yep. Well, they're doing it the Atlanta one too, but
Oh, okay.
they must not have gotten the rights to do Ford v Ferrari because that was the initial plan, is that they were going to show Ford v Ferrari and then push my car out there so people could see it. But they just released the movies that they're going to do in Atlanta, and it's I think it's like 16 Candles, Secret Life of Pets 2, which I don't
Is that a real movie or
understand
is
the
that animated?
connection there. It's animated, and then I think they're
Oh, okay. Well,
doing
Cars has Porsche in it too, so I would count that. I guess we have to count that.
both of the Bad Boys movies, which makes sense because I have the cars for that. So
1 and 3, right?
yeah, yeah, the
Second one
newest
had that
one, and then
Ferrari
the first
Maranello,
one.
I think.
Yes, you're correct there. So I was kind of bummed that they're not going to do the Ford v Ferrari, but it probably came down to licensing or the mouse not playing nice with how much it was going to cost or whatever else. So yep, no Ford v Ferrari it looks like, but that's okay.
Well, it
They're
is what it
doing
is. I have a feeling your video is going to take the show over there anyway, buddy. And when I
Well,
say
I
your
hope
video, I mean
people.
the one you premiered last week here, Old Soul, which, oh my gosh, I watched it a couple times. It's available on YouTube separately now. You don't have to watch our whole show to see it. In fact, what's the YouTube page that's on? Can we plug that real quick?
I don't even know what they ended up putting it under, but if you just search
You,
Old
you,
Soul 906, it'll come
there you
up.
go.
Or I mean, the link is in my bio on my Instagram, or you can just go to my Instagram and just click the link right there. But trying to think, what were the other movies that they're doing? Oh, aren't they doing Le Mans at PECLA? Maybe that's your
Yeah, well,
first
that's
time
just
to
the thing.
watch it all the way through.
You sent me the three movies, and it was I think it was Le Mans on Thursday, which I
Yeah.
predicted would be a sleeper,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
and it was Days of. Did we ever say it before? I don't think we even said the name. It's
Oh,
Days
we
of
didn't even
Thunder.
say it's Days of
Days of
Thunder.
Thunder is
Yeah.
the movie that he was teasing before, which we thought, oh my gosh, that's so funny. Days of Thunder on Friday night, and then Saturday might have been, was it Risky Business? Do you
Maybe
remember?
so. Yeah. Maybe so.
I can't remember.
I'd have to go back and look. I don't know. But yeah, kind of cool.
You're kind of cool.
I I don't know if they're going to be able to let people into the Heritage Gallery though. I'm thinking not. I'm thinking those people still aren't going to be able to get into the Heritage Gallery.
Not for
Ray would
that,
be
I
able to
wouldn't
like,
imagine.
yeah, I
I
don't
wouldn't
think so. I
imagine.
don't know
I don't
because
think you can
everything
do
is
that
still
mass. I mean,
nope.
what
Can't.
Ray was
It's too
saying
many
the other
people.
day, it sounded like, by the way, Ray Schaefer. If not already, please consider following Ray Schaefer for your backstage pass to all things Porsche, brand heritage, and travel-related material. That's ray.schaefer, Shaffer. He was saying the other day that, oh my gosh, now I totally lost it. What the hell were we talking about?
How many people can get in?
Oh, that's right.
How?
He was saying the other day that if you book a driving experience, and you know what I mean, if you go
Yes.
through then you have access, and of course you can go through and spend as much time as you like in the Heritage Gallery. But those
Right.
are smaller numbers, and it's broken
Yep.
down into
Yeah, they
smaller.
can
You know,
control that easier. Yeah, they're not going to let
yeah, I
all the
don't
people
think you
get out
could
of their
do.
cars and then yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
just don't see how you. Not these days, not right now at this
Nope,
moment,
not going to
which is
happen.
a bummer.
But I know it is.
It'll come around. It
But
will come around.
there's your chance to see Days of Thunder on the big screen again, my friend.
You know, I never saw it on the big screen. Can you believe that?
I
I
actually
remember
did.
I remember visiting my grandparents and my uncle, who was my favorite uncle. There was it was a bunch of family, whatever. And my uncle,
Hmm.
who was my favorite relative, he was like the one I got along with. He went to the
Hmm.
movies with his girlfriend or whatever. and,
Oh, that's funny.
I was like, oh man, what'd you see? Oh, Days of Thunder. Oh man.
Oh, that's
But when it came
hilarious.
out on HBO or VHS or whatever it was later, then I went to town on it.
Right.
It's
Oh,
so
that's
funny
funny.
though. Oh man.
That's funny stuff.
All right, what else is on the card here? There's a couple other things. Let's see. We did shout out to Wrench. I wanted to tell you this just because we always joked about it. I finally yanked at a yellow car the amplifier and CD changer, whatever the heck, all that, the boxes and all the wiring and crap that were under the hood. And it was always sort of an embarrassing thing. Like, all right, Mr. Lightweight, you took out all this other stuff, and why is
But you
half
still
of
got
your
all
stereo
this stuff.
system still sitting in the in the frunk? It was a silly thing, and somebody called me out about it the other day at Donuts and Distancing because we had the hood up.
Hmm.
And as a matter of fact, I was sitting next to Magnus when it happened, and it was kind of funny because I looked at him and I was like, "I saw you on Jay Leno's Garage, and didn't you say the exact same thing?" Jay Leno was like, "Oh, yeah, and you still got the speakers and whatever." There was like more stereo
Hmm.
stuff. He's like, "Oh, I never really got around to it." It was exactly the same for me. I just never really got around to it. I wanted to. The other day at Smoking Tire, between the workday and recording the podcast at night, it didn't make sense to come home because of LA traffic. So I just stayed there. And I just pulled the car in the garage and I started yanking shit out of it.
Oh, that's
So I got all
awesome.
that stuff out. There was wood in
State.
there that somebody mounted, like an aftermarket stereo too and stuff.
Oh
There's all
wow.
sorts of crap.
Wow.
Yeah. I probably dropped 15
Facebook
pounds, I'd guess.
Facebook Marketplace.
Ugh. I
You
mean, I
sell it?
guess. Who wants a Kenwood amp?
I'm sure there'd be some takers out there.
I have the whole unit. I have everything. I still have the head unit and all the stuff
There you go.
in the closet downstairs. Although I
There
got
you
to
go.
bring the Porsche stuff over to Sarah over at LA Dismantler. I said I was going to do that, and I got to do that. And maybe I'll do that this week. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow.
There you
Maybe I'll do
go.
that tomorrow.
Sweet. That'd be a cool place to go out to. I've never been out there. I've driven by it, but I've never the LA Dismantler.
Speaking of the smoking tire, we talked about you on the show, and he specifically was like, and said to Zach, like, we got to get him back on the show, being you. So expect an
Cool.
invite if you haven't already talked about it from Smoking Tire, but that would be an excuse for you
Yeah,
to
that'd
come
be
out
fun.
here.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Then we can hang out, we can do Breakfast Club, we can go to LA Dismantlers, we can do all the stuff.
Well, there's talk in the fall of a Ford v Ferrari owns track day.
Oh.
So maybe we could
What,
go
when
to
in the
that.
fall? Because October
They
also
don't
has
know
Cars
yet.
in the Canyons, which is Porsche v Ferrari themed this year.
Yeah, that's gonna be yeah. My buddy Steve Foster is the one that's helped with that, and he's got the other 906 Longtail, and he has one of the Ferrari P3s too. So he's both those cars at that show. And then my buddy Bill, who you've met at Malibu a couple times now, he's bringing a couple of his cars out. So that's going to be huge too. So maybe if the track thing doesn't happen, I'll come out for that. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, but there's talk of a track day. They don't know if they're gonna
What,
be
at
able to do it at
Fontana?
Willow Springs.
Oh, Willow would be fun.
Yeah, they were hoping to do Willow, but for whatever reason, he's like, "Yeah, I don't think we're gonna be able to make Willow work, but we'll find somewhere else." So who knows? I
Mm.
mean, it's not like there's that many road courses in LA anymore, so I don't know where else it would be if it's not Willow. I don't know.
Well, I mean, they could do it at Streets and not at Big Willow, right? They could.
Yeah,
I
they
mean,
could do
there are a
that too.
couple of racetracks up there.
Yeah, they
I
could
don't
do
think
that
Horse
too.
Thief Mile could support it. That's pretty small.
Yeah, I don't think so. So I don't know. I'll keep you
Everything else is
posted though.
gone, right?
I'll let you know.
Riverside's gone. Irwindale's.
Riverside's gone.
Well, Irwindale never had a street course.
Riverside is a shopping mall and a neighborhood now. So yeah, crazy. Ken Miles, like the anniversary of when Ken Miles died was just the other day, which I'm guessing is not a coincidence that Ford just dropped that new livery of the GT40, of the new Ford GT. Did you see that they replicated the car that he won Daytona in '66? Oh,
No.
that's cool. So go on my Instagram, you'll see it. It was like probably from yesterday. Ford dropped this new Heritage livery. It's like going to be a limited edition thing, I think. And they replicated the livery from the '66 Daytona race, which is the
Oh
same
wow,
race
this
that
is
the
cool. Yeah, I got it
906
here.
was in. Isn't that cool? Yeah,
Yeah.
it's really neat. But that car was in Ford v Ferrari. I mean, a replica of that car, obviously. But I thought that was cool. But I think that's probably why they did it when they did, because I think it was yesterday was the anniversary of Ken Miles' death at Riverside when he was testing the new GT40. So yeah, pretty cool stuff. That's a neat livery. Um, so yeah, I thought that was pretty cool of Ford to do that. It's weird that I mean, even prior to Ford v Ferrari, like not a lot of people knew about Ken Miles, like, which is strange to me because I mean he was such a fascinating guy. He was this kind of double threat of race car driver and engineer. He was like he was a badass, and I mean I was a huge fan of him way before the film came out, just because of his club racing days with the California Sports Car Club, and he did a lot of stuff back in the late '50s and early '60s with Porsches and stuff like that, and so it's weird to see all of this like newfound. I mean, it's cool, but it's weird to see all of this newfound fandom of Ken Miles as of the last year or so, just because of the movie. It's pretty, but it's cool to see him finally getting some recognition because he was so. I mean, he was such a just a really seemed like a really cool guy. Knew his stuff and just yeah, it's cool to see that.
What did
I'm
he
I'm
drive in the
happy.
movie? Was it a Healy? The one where he banged
Um,
the, or was it a 289, an AC,
no,
not
he had
Cobra
the
yet, but
wagon. Remember the green Country Squire wagon? That's what
no,
he
no, no. Ken
drove. That
Miles
was like
in the movie where he banged the trunk, the racing, banged the trunk
oh,
to
you
fit the
mean at the
box and everything.
race? Yeah, that was a Cobra, a slab side Cobra, which were like the early ones with like the smaller motor, the
But it was
289, I
it
think.
was the old like AC body and everything, right? Like that was early, early.
Correct. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that car was supposed to be red. It's white in the movie, but I believe that was from like the '62 or '63. Um, it was like a one of the SCCA runoffs or something. Back in like '62 or '63. So that first race that takes place at Willow Springs, that really happened. But yeah, they call them slab side Cobras. It's the early one without the fender flares, and it had a smaller engine. I think they were the 289s, but I could be wrong. I'm not a Cobra guy, but Yeah,
No, I think
that's
you're
one where
right
he's
about the
trying to bang
majority
the
of
trunk
that. But
down.
what I'm seeing is like I feel like that could be a car in your future at some point. I don't mean
It'd be
necessarily
cool.
a legitimate one, maybe, and certainly not a fucking 429 Cobra, but like the Ken Miles car with the dented trunk lid and all that shit and the broken windshield, like that I see.
Yeah, that would be cool. That'd be really cool. So,
Where's
if
that
you
real
don't
car from the
follow him,
movie?
I actually am Instagram friends with the guy, Tony Hunt. He's on our little owners group. He was Christian Bale's stunt driver. He was a
Oh, you're
stunt double
kidding.
basically for the movie. He bought the car after the film. Yeah. So he does have that. And I helped him get the windshield back too. Because when he got it back from the film, or when he bought it after the film, I want to say he bought that from Superformance. I don't think um, my friend Billy owned that car. I think those cars went back to Superformance. He made
They
sure
put
to get the
full
car
glass
that he had
back in, I'm
driven.
guessing,
But
and
they
he
put
they
he put the windshield in, but my friend Billy still had the stunt, broken one with the masking tape over it, and I
the one you want.
got those two together. Yeah, so he's got the right windshield for it now too, which is cool. But
That's
Tony
so
Hunt's
awesome.
awesome. Really, really nice guy. And what's cool is his grandfather is Joe Hunt of Joe Hunt Magnetos, which was like a huge like hot rodding, race Magnetos, which is like they take the place of its distributor, so you can run without a battery basically.
No shit.
Uh, yeah, I had an old Gasser Volkswagen that had a Joe Hunt Magneto on it. Like most of the hot rod guys will know what that is. But his grandfather was Joe Hunt, which is kind of cool. So yeah, like third generation car guy for sure. But
What are you going to do
yeah.
with all this knowledge? Are you going to write a book? Are you
Oh
going
God, I don't
to
know. Who
start a
knows?
museum? There's so
I
much
don't know.
great knowledge from this time in your head.
I know. It's just who knows? Who knows, man? I would have loved to have worked on Ford v Ferrari. I wish I'd have known about that project while I was still going down. But yeah, I didn't find out about it until after the fact. But
Yeah.
I don't know. You know that they're doing a movie about Ferrari, about Enzo. Did we talk about that?
I know that there's been one in the works for like a decade.
It's supposedly happening now. Like, I think they're gonna start filming next year. Like, they're not even gonna try this year. But yeah, supposedly next year.
That's
And I
cool.
think they already. Who did I tell you they cast for it? They have cast somebody to play Enzo now. But it's only gonna be in the 50s. I think most of it takes place in the 50s, which will be interesting. But that'd be a cool one to be involved with. I mean, I'm not a Ferrari guy, but that'd be cool to like, be an extra in that or something, or find out who the vehicle guy is going to be.
There you go.
Maybe it'll be my friend Billy again. I don't know.
Now
We'll
you're
see.
talking. Let's see. Did we get to the stuff? Smoking Tire Studio, Smoking Tire Podcast, haircuts, cars and COVID. The only thing from cars and COVID, I want to say that what's his name? Bruce brought Bruce Meyer brought the Highway Patrol Mustang 5.0, like the
That was
Fox
awesome.
body.
The CHP Fox
Yeah,
body.
yeah, the California Highway Patrol, but the Fox body chase car.
That's
So
cool.
cool. Bloop, blue, blue. All that shit had everything going and everything getting people moving in the parking lot.
That's
Such a
hilarious.
riot. So fun.
He could have been the mask police. That would have been awesome.
Yeah, a lot of masks, which was great. I think almost everybody had masks, which was great. But it's just there's so many people. It was like it's become a grab and go thing. It's
Yeah.
not if you want the old experience, it's almost not available to you. If you just want a car show, like that's there. But that's kind of what I was
Yeah.
saying in the beginning about like please go patronize Malibu Kitchen because like they're the ones who sort of like helped make this a car thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think Mercedes Grill's putting stuff on their Instagram and everything.
Yeah. Very true. Very true. That's a
Spike
good point.
Fairstone, we talked about that. Wrench Solopreneur Hour, talked about that. Finally yanked the batteries cables out of yellow car. Talked about that. I think we did most everything. Oh, you know what? The only one thing, the term Porsche weenie came up when we were watching Bill Warner on
That
on
was
Fresh Brewed and
hilarious.
Air
Porsche
Cooled the other
weenies.
day. I laughed out loud, and I had just finished my cup of coffee, or I might have spit it out. I
Yeah,
thought
that
it
was
was
great.
so great. If you haven't already, please check out the Fresh Brewed and Air Cooled episode with Bill Warner from just the other day, hosted by our friends, of course, Ray Schaefer and Cam Ingram on the Road Scholars website and YouTube page. Delightful interview. I learned so much
Yeah.
stuff. Uh, First of all, I had no idea what a big deal the Cannonball was. You know what I mean? I just didn't know.
Right.
I thought it was my own little private memory of like, oh, me and my dad,
Yeah.
whatever. Like, it'll never be talked about again. Nobody will ever believe me when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think it was a thing. And now it's
Yeah.
like everybody talks about it and celebrates it. So hearing some of that stuff was great, and hearing that the Porsches never actually did that well on the Cannonball, I found that interesting. I learned that,
Mm-hmm.
and just it's a great interview. There's a lot of good racing
He had some
history and
great
stuff.
stories, and like even his early racing stories are pretty fascinating because I think most people know him from the Amelia Island Concours, but like I mean he's got so many other
He's the
stories
creator
before
or
that. I mean,
originator of the
yeah,
Concours, right?
yeah, exactly, yeah. But I mean, all of his racing stories were amazing, and he was telling the story about how he had a chance to buy an RS60 in San Francisco for like 13 grand back in the day, and like all these crazy, like, yeah, it was pretty cool.
Just
It
that he
was
was
that
telling a
was neat.
story. He was talking about something they did to a Porsche. And he was like, all these Porsche weenies. It's just like that's perfect. That's
It is
perfect. I'm
perfect.
one. I could
Yeah.
say it. Porsche weenies is perfect.
Yeah,
Oh,
that
it's
was
so
great.
great. Anyway,
Yep.
highly recommend that. Checking it out. Buddy, we have done the hour. If is there anything else for you?
Man, that went quick. No, I can't think of anything. That pretty much sums it up for me, man. I'll let you know what I find about this Geo Metro.
Please, I want to know. And then my homework, of course, is to watch that.
Yeah, you gotta watch it.
Um,
It's good. It's 4 hours, but it goes really, really quick. I mean, you're gonna want to just binge it. It's that good.
is it
It's
for
really
one
good.
hours? Is that what it is?
For 1 hour, yeah,
Yeah,
four
I
one
mean
hour
that's not
episodes.
bad.
It's
I mean,
super
if it's
easy.
good, you
Yeah,
watch that in a night, right? You just stay up late and watch that, and
you'll
yeah,
watch it in a night. It's that good.
go get another snack. And you're like, all right, well,
Yeah.
go to bed
Yep.
at 1 instead of 11.
Exactly.
To my friend at home tomorrow, if you haven't already, please check out my appearances on the Smoking Tire and or the Solopreneur Hour. Listen to either of those also. Thursday, we've got Sid Pandya in studio. Sid is a wonderful Porsche friend. He is a wonderful Porsche file. He is a guy who moved here just a couple years ago and really has left his mark on the Los Angeles car community, Porsche specifically, but really the whole car community. And Sid has to leave us due to due to the politics of whatever's going on in the world and this country. Visa rules have changed, and Sid, who has made quite a nice life for himself here, has to leave. So we're gonna get to know him a little bit here on the show. He's a great, great guy, a wonderful spirit. Couldn't be more giving as a person. Just it emanates off of him. What can I do for you? What can I do for you? Very good friends with Benton and Benton Performance. And just so many people out here. I can't wait to have him here, but it's melancholy for me. I'm so sad that he's going to be leaving. And
Yeah,
if I'm not mistaken, I
that's a
think this may
shame.
be his last stop. There was a motoring
Oh,
club, Cars and Coffee forum the other day that Michael threw for him down at the motoring club. And then Mr. John Benton, of course, threw a big blowout down at Benton Performance last weekend. So, this may be one of, if not the last stop
oh.
for Sid in his LA car days, at least for now. At least
Well,
for
hopefully he
now.
can come back. Never say never, right?
Hopefully he can come back. And then the wonderful thing is, we are all friends because of social media, because of Instagram.
Yep.
So that's not going to go away. We're all going to be
Exactly.
just as present with each other, and maybe even more so because absence makes the heart grow fonder. So anyway,
This is
tomorrow
true.
Sid's going to be here. My friend Sid.
Awesome. Awesome, man. Well, I look forward to that.
Oh, Tori, buddy, I love you so much.
Love you
This is
too,
my
man.
this is
Hope all
this
is
is
well.
this is one of my favorite things of the week. Thanks for doing it.
It is. It
Also,
is. I know
also, while I was looking stuff up, I didn't realize that the show didn't follow you on Instagram, so that's been rectified. I did that well while I was talking to
Oh,
you.
there you go.
I don't know
All
how
good,
or
man.
why, but it's all taken care of.
It's all good.
To everyone else, and on behalf of Tori and myself, we love you at home. Please love one another. Oh man, hang on to each other. It's crazy out there. It's getting crazier by the day. I don't know what's going on day by day. LA is on fire. It's shaking. Who knows what's going to happen? I hope to God we're all here on Thursday to spend time with each other. But for Tori Alonso, Mrs. Ryan, who's on assignment, and myself, we love you at home, and we will see you next time.
See you guys.